Hi all. So it's been quite a long blockchain week, many talks, and before I start, I would like to thank everybody who had the endurance to stay here. So thank you, and yeah, random applause for everybody here. So also during this week, just as a side note, these T-shirts kind of proved popular. We've been asked a lot about if we can give some away. And for you, the special crowd here, if anybody wants them, just let me know after the talk. We didn't bring any, they're quite exclusive. All right, so oops. Let's hit the last 5 minutes. I'm here, my name is Gregor. So before I start, I'm from a project called Data Fund. Our mission is to transform data into assets. But I'm not here today to speak about Data Fund, but about the nonprofit initiative we also started. And what is it about? In short, the internet didn't turn out the way we want it to be. We see it's broken, and basically the data economy with it's also broken. In this sense, it's going even further. We see the proliferation of behavior-changing algorithms. So it actually puts, like, if you look at the trends, and if you try to use the imagination, how it develops, we are basically facing a moment where surveillance capitalism is going to merge with dopamine economy, and yes, it's going to be about data slavery. And this is the sad face of data slavery. So in this regard, we deeply believe that in the digital age, freedom starts with owning your data. But how can we do this, if we need to reimagine this? So that's why we also, as Data Fund, we had to make a step back and think about it. And it's like, if we speak about the commons, it's like here we as blockchain developers, we need to address solutions differently as centralized solutions. So we started Fair Data Society. Now, Fair Data Society as an alternative to data slavery. Now, before I explain what Fair Data Society is, first, what is fair data? In general, everybody's probably familiar with the concept of fair trade. So the shortcut would be to say this is sort of like an equivalent in the digital space. It's against the exploitation of the individual. It's about respecting human rights and about fair distribution of value. And in this regard, it presents, we believe, an alternative to what we're seeing now. Now, what is Fair Data Society? Taylor, this week at Web3 Summit, did like a nice talk about it, and he said, like, I can tell you what it's not. So basically, it's not meant to be a replacement for your project. It's a collaborative, an initiative of humans that are joined by the values. And these values represent so-called Fair Data Society principles on which we believe the solutions should be built on top, and that it also should be a collective effort in determining them. What we do? So besides the social part, we released recently FairDrop. A couple of months ago. It's a secure file transfer. We think, I would like to have these talks, that it's probably the most secure file transfer right now. It runs on Swarm, and because of that, there's no servers about it, So when we did FairDrop, we also knew that every developer is going to face similar problems. And with FairDrop, we also released FDS.js, which builds, again, on top of Swarm. And it should provide a shortcut for developers to basically just develop the apps. Don't worry about the storage. Why do we use Swarm? Well, we see it's very well aligned with our vision in terms of being a lot more than storage. And we see it as a far superior alternative to other solutions. In a way, today we heard a lot about IPFS, but I have a feeling that I even heard more about IPFS workarounds. Well, we do want to avoid those workarounds and just do our job. So let's jump over to this. So what's next? And this is the exciting part. At the Blockchain Week in Berlin, we announced a new project we call Fair Drive. In essence, it's like Google Drive or Dropbox, just completely decentralized, completely under your control, and apps can easily save and read data from it. This is very much, it's one of the most important things that we see. Why? Because it's like projects in the blockchain space dealing with data, they all say, we give data back to the user. We, as data fund, we say the same. And this is good. But as a user, if I think like what's going to happen in 2-3 years, I will have my data, but I will have 100 different accounts. And if I have my data on 100 different USB keys, it's like I don't have it. It's not usable. So we believe there is a responsibility of blockchain developers to think also about these things. If we all agree that the user gets the data, let's agree that the user gets the data in the same place. And this is basically, in a nutshell, also describes efforts of Fair Data Society. So if you want to connect, these are the addresses. And maybe as a last thing, why do we do this? Because we believe we are a tribe. We are in this together, and this is bigger than from anyone. Like, it's bigger than Data Fund, it's bigger probably than your projects. We are here addressing the problem of how we reimagine our society based on the fair exchange of value. Thank you.